Nico, disappointing result, but you always knew you was going to come up against a tough opponent today. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, first and foremost, congrats to Worcester. Good team. Obviously, just come down from the first division, but we're basically disappointed because we'd come into this game full of confidence, on a high, and we didn't do the basics well enough. Very good pitch. I have to, give all our best wishes to the groundsman Andy and his team, because they've produced an absolute fantastic wicket that. If we have wickets as half as good as that throughout the year, we'll be in a good place, and our cricket will be in a better place. So, congrats to him at this time of year. But yeah, it's we allowed Worcester to get away. It was a big decision not given out. We felt it was out when Rutherford had 15. But that's the game. That's our great game. And he got a brilliant 100, and fair play. They got 300s, and you can't take that away from Worcester. We got 5 50s in the game. Their 300s were outstanding altogether, and they put it. The scoreboard pressure. Bowlers put the ball in decent areas. They ask questions consistently, and that really put us under pressure. And disappointing thing for us, we had 5 50s and no 100s, and if you can turn those 50s into 100s, then it's a different game. But if you look back over the game, and we've done a short reflection, right now Worcester, they outbatted, they outbowled us and outfielded us, and we have to look at our skills and look internally about our decision making and how we went about things. So it is fine margins, this game, and but Worcester had the finer margins over these 4 days.
Going into the beginning of the final day, obviously Ackerman and Chris Wright were still out to bat. Obviously the onus would have been more so on Ackerman, being that obviously Chris was in a night's watchman position. How well did he do? Obviously he seemed very composed, very confident at the crease until obviously he finally got out, unfortunately. But how good a performance was that?
Yeah, it's great to see a bit of resilience from the guys, isn't it? We know that Colin Ackerman's a high-class player. He's actually coming back from South Africa. I really believe in a better place than he was last year. Technically, his game's is more aligned in his setup and his stance, and his bat path's coming through really straight. Where last year he came across a little bit from sort of gully, third slip gully area, and he's addressed that this winter as he's worked on his bowling as well. So I think Colin's in a really good place. He was almost felt too good, and both him and Atik actually felt so good that they went after balls that weren't there, and it's great lessons for them to do that, because they have their scoring areas that they wait for bowlers to come into, and when you're playing really well, sometimes you can just fancy it a bit more, and we've all been there and all done it. But the reason that Alistair Cook's the gun that he was in international cricket is because he had that discipline, and Worcester had much more discipline. The way Mitchell went about his game, Rutherford went about the discipline they had was fantastic, and that's a really good lesson that we've taken from them. But Chris Wright, always wants to do a night watchman job. He likes batting, he enjoys batting. As a kid got a lot of runs, and now he averages over 20. Sort of batting sort of 9, 10, 11. So Chris can bat. We're looking forward to get some 50s this year. We really believe he can get some 50s. And Colin, is a class act, and his chat in the team group this morning was he wants to get a big 100. He wants to bat all day, and that's his mindset, and I'll continue to be his mindset.
You mentioned obviously the 5 50s that we did get. Obviously Ackerman got one, Kozzy got another, Hassan Azad got his second consecutive half century, and Tom Taylor came in at 9, I think the revised 9, and got a 50 as well. How good was that from Tom Taylor to show that he can go out there, bowl and bat? Yeah,
he's a true all-rounder, he really is. He's worked so hard on his batting this winter. Always had the sort of technique to get it in and score big runs, but he just maybe hasn't quite had that opportunity. He batted a bit later down at Derbyshire, so now hopefully he'll come in a little bit earlier for us and have more opportunity with Ben Rain going. So he's getting into the ball more now. He's a big lad. He's 6'3", 6'4", can get a good stride forward. He's quite imposing, hits the ball hard. So delighted. Delighted. It's a shame he got out at the end, really, the way he did. But he's a positive cricketer. He wants to take brave wickets with the ball. He wants to bowl. What I mean by brave is he wants to get LBW, he wants to get bowled, he wants to get nick off. So and again with his batting he's positive, but he's going to be an exciting cricketer, somebody we need to keep at this club, because he's got a lot of ability, and he's got the desire to do well.
And just to go back to Thursday morning, obviously winning the toss and then choosing to bowl, just what's the thought process behind that?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Half management were thinking one thing, half thinking another, and in the end we ended up going with bowling. We felt it would do enough seam movement. There's still sort of green areas away from the wicket, so the cricket pitch itself, but either side was quite green. It's still early April. It's still chilly. The ground still can be a little bit damp in the mornings, and we thought there might be enough seam movement. And to be fair, I think there was enough seam movement early. They played and missed, dozens of times and got away with it. And this game's such fine margins. You can play and miss 10 player misses. Somebody can walk out first ball and nick it. And that's the game. So we just didn't probably. For our quality standards, we probably didn't put the ball consistently in enough good areas. The guys all did their very best and tried their hardest, but we just didn't put it there on this particular day. And Worcester got in and played well, and they made us pay. The ball gets softer on a good hard wicket. The ball gets softer, and the seams, they're a little bit smaller this year, so the seam doesn't quite do as much. So you've got 30 overs, 35 overs to make hay. And sadly we didn't do that on this occasion, and Worcester made us pay.
And just looking ahead into the future now, obviously Yorkshire coming up on Wednesday. The County Championship takes a bit of a back seat for a month or so now. What are your thoughts going into the white ball campaign?
Yeah, well, it's exciting. We had a heavy white ball emphasis in this winter. We looked at where we were last year. We had a great debrief about all the players individually and also the game plans and how we were going about it. And we've been chatting as a management group and the players how we're going to plan going forward and move forward. So it was a real heavy emphasis on expanding our white ball game this winter. So up till Christmas was basically all white ball. And then we implemented red ball cricket. So guys should all be in a better place with their options and their methods. And now we just got to go to Yorkshire, a test ground, be a good crowd, it'll be a partisan crowd, as it always is, up at Headingley, and we're looking forward to showing our skills and playing real positive cricket.